Hi, my name is Nick Short. I was the captain of the 2018-2019 Oratory Prep bowling team.
And I'm Steven Chambers. I'm going to be co-captain of the 2019-2020 Oratory bowling team.
And we're excited that you want to join the OP bowling team. To show our appreciation, we're going to make this video to show you what to expect and just an introduction to bowling in general for the OP bowling team. My pal Steven here is going to be helping me give you a tutorial on how to bowl properly because I bowl like this. As you can see, I bowl pretty weirdly. I don't know why you guys bowl like that. So my boy Steven's going to show you how it's done. So my boy Steven's going to show you how it's done. Look at that. Look how clean. Look how clean that is.
Now you can see that I bowl better than him. That's why I'm helping him.
Really? Anyway, guys, I'm going to give you guys the rundown of the video so you know what to expect. Today, we're going to be talking about what to expect with your first day of practice, what to expect on game day, and the basic fundamentals of bowling, which will include throwing a good strike shot, spares, boards, and basically anything you could think of for our newer bowlers. Alright guys, you're over to the Jersey lanes for the first time. You're assigned to your lanes. Wait, lanes? Yeah, I know, most of you guys bowl for casuals are probably like, why are there more than one lane that we're bowling on? Well, the sport of bowling itself, in competitive play, it actually is played on a pair of lanes, in two lanes, and they alternate back and forth basically every frame. So, now you notice that's the first thing to expect. The second thing that I would do on your first day out on the lanes, just have fun, enjoy yourself. If you're new, introduce yourself to your teammates, just have a good time if you're new to the game. Try to get a feel for the bowling, how to feel with your ball, and just have fun out there.
Another important thing to do is to listen to the advice of the people who have more knowledge of bowling than you. It really helps you improve your game. Both Nick and I have done that in the past, and it has helped bring our team knowledge up. We've done a lot better.
Alright, so this next part is for more of our experienced bowlers. So for our newer bowlers, I know it's going to be hard to understand, but you'll actually understand what all this means when this video is done, because we're going to explain all this stuff to you for beginners. So for our most experienced bowlers, I'm not going to tell you to not have fun. Obviously have fun, have a good time, spend time with your friends, enjoy yourself. But also I would set a goal for yourself. Personally, what I would do if I was at practice, I would bowl these lanes in a year because they're not, personally Jersey lanes is where we bowl, it's not my home lanes. So I usually like to adjust and see what I'm doing on the first practice, and honestly any of the practices. So what I would do, for example, is if my ball was underhooking, since I'm left-handed, I would move to the left, and if it was overhooking, I'd move to the right so I can get more hook. And trying to find that spot on the lane where I can stand and get a consistent strike shot. And if it was for the righties, what you would do if it was overhooking, you would move to the left, and if you were underhooking, it would move to the right. So you're trying to find your strike shot, a consistent strike shot, get that target out on the lane, and do what you gotta do. And also on practices, obviously you want to work on your strike shot, but also I would work on spares too. Your 7-pin, your 10-pin, especially the 2-4-7 or the 3-6-10 if you are a righty as well. So that's what I would recommend for my more experienced bowlers. So now Steven and I are going to explain what courtesy is. Courtesy is one of the most important rules in all of bowling, and you will need it for literally the rest of your bowling days. And so Steven is going to explain what that is right now.
Alright, so like Nick said, courtesy is very important. Basically, you want to make sure that nobody on the left or right of you are going. It's kind of like if you're crossing the street, you want to look to your left and you want to look to your right to make sure no one else is going. You can, if you don't use courtesy, you could both hit somebody that's bowling next to you, or you could interrupt your own bowling routine or theirs, and it can be very dangerous to do so.
So yeah, Steven and I are going to show you an example of what to do and what not to do during courtesy. And we're just going to give you a visual just so you understand what we're saying.
You go.
Thank you. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is fouling. And fouling is something you absolutely do not want to do. So what is fouling and what is a foul line? So let's get right into that. So over here, this black line that separates the lane and the approach is called the foul line. You do not want to cross the foul line. A, it is an absolutely dangerous thing to do. There's even a warning sign right by C. And second of all, it'll also dock points. It's not good. So let's say I were to bowl and I got a strike like this. Oh no, my foot went over the line. It doesn't count. it goes an F in the first ball, and you can try to get the spare by getting all the pins down. It really does mess up a game, and it can make or break it. And like I said before, it's also a very dangerous thing to do to cross the line. On the lane, obviously experienced bowlers, pretty much everyone does know this anyway, but people that don't know this, there's oil on the lanes. That's how the ball hooks. It uses the oil, absorbs it, and that's how it rolls. It's all goes down the lane. And it's very slippery. I knew someone that, while on the lane, accidentally just fell forward and fell over and absolutely destroyed their shoulder. Then they get multiple surgeries. It's very, very dangerous. Do not do it. And another rule of fouling, there actually is one circumstance in which it doesn't count if you go over the line. And I'm gonna let my good buddy Josh Blanchard explain that.
Starting to figure things out. Fagan lurking. Oh my goodness gracious!
You're probably wondering, Nick, how in the world is that not a foul? He completely went over the line and fell over and made a complete fool out of himself. Yes, he did. But technically in USBC rules, if you were to fall over the foul line and not let go of the ball, it's not a foul. I actually didn't know that until PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson said it on one of the PBA telecasts. So I thought that was actually very interesting. I didn't know that. And is there anything to add otherwise?
Another important thing, if you do foul and you hit pins and you didn't get a gutter ball, you need to reset the pins in order for it to count.
Yeah, it does reset. That is something I should have added. If you're a 9 on the first one and then you fouled, the pins would reset. You'd have a fresh rack to work with. So that is one of the more. I hate fouling. I actually never fouled until Pepsi, where I literally had 5 fouls in a row, and it was awful. I had a 94 in the first game, which I don't want to talk about. But yeah, don't foul.
Congratulations, you made it to your first bowling match.
Yeah.
Nick and I are now going to explain to you the makeup of a typical match.
Alright, so the first thing I'm going to explain is when you walk in. So normally, if both teams have a JV and varsity team, our team does, but some of the teams do not. I was going to explain if both teams have a JV and varsity team. So it's usually on 4 lanes, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first pair is usually varsity, and the second pair is usually JV. It's usually 5v5, but JV is not always 5v5. I know some JV teams have 3 or 4, they have a couple of vacants, but varsity is always 5 versus 5 most of the time. And another thing I want to point out is that when you're bowling, each team has a side of the lane where they put their stuff. Let's say your name was on that side of the board, your stuff would be on the left side of the lane, and on that side would be on the right, etc., etc. It's just always a good thing to maintain cleanliness while you're on the lane. To refrain from being sloppy. It's the OP way. We are representing our school. It's just at true oratory prep drum. That's always an important thing.
That's a good point. And another thing you need to do, as soon as you get in, you will have 10 minutes to practice, 5 minutes on each side. And you want to roll as many shots as you can in that time frame. So if you're starting out on the left, you want to figure out what your strike shot is on the left lane, and then see what it is on the right lane. It might change depending on the oil pattern. Some lanes, sometimes they do put different oil patterns on each lane, so it will be different sometimes. A lot of the time it isn't, but they might try to trick you once in a while.
They do. It's not that they really try to trick you. And the oil's not consistent on each lane, and that's fine. So if you're a newer bowler, what I would do is just get a feel of the ball, get a feel how you're throwing it, and if you do throw a good shot, try to repeat that form over and over and over again. The more you repeat yourself, the better your score is going to be. And if you're more experienced, like Steven said, try to find that shot that works. And after you're able to get a consistent strike shot and you feel comfortable on where you're throwing it, try working on your spares. Work on your 7 pin, your 10 pin if you're lefty and righty. If you're lefty, work on your 2-4-7. If you're righty, work on your 3-6-10. Those are really important things you got to work on. I always practice my 7 and 10 pins. Those are really easy ones to focus on. But I never practiced my 2-4-7 because I am left-handed, or like Steven's basically a 3-6-10. It's basically the 3 pins on the right and the left that you can see that one is not like head pin. And I missed so many of those because I wouldn't practice. Always practice those pins. Those are very important because if you do come up high, those are the pins you're going to leave. So now you're done with practice. Now it's time to get into the actual game format and basically how it's broken down. So there are 3 games in a match. Each game is worth 2 points, plus there is a total pins point, which is an extra point that goes in the end. So each day is worth 7 wins or losses, for example. So how it would work, I'm going to give you an example of how the score breakdown would work. Let's say Oratory Prep wins 2 of the 3 games. that we play against said team. And we also win total pins. So we win 2 games, so that's 2 wins per game. So it's 4, so it's 4 wins plus total pins is 5 wins. So we would win 5-2, and that's how the breakdown would work. It's a 5v5, like I said. It's pretty easy, honestly. You can't really tie a bowling. So like, let's say, for example, the one game team has a really good game. And we have like 2 end games, but we win. One, we win both of them, and then we only win by a little bit. It would be like 4-3. There's no way you would tie. The only way you would really tie is that each different game, we would all tie, and then we would tie on total pins. That has never happened, ever. It will never happen. I've been bowling for 2 years in like many different leagues. It won't happen ever. And if it does happen, that would be really shocking. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Another important thing is you need to remember your courtesy. We explained that before. If you don't, people will get mad at you and will possibly report you to the bowling stand.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, when I mean don't, it's really bad. Just don't do it.
And another thing, bowling is a very friendly sport. It's the only sport where you can basically high five the other teammates that are your opposing teammates.
And that's like courtesy, though. That's what you're supposed to do. It's like out of good sportsmanship. It's like one of those unwritten rule of bowling. If another team, one of the people on the other team gets a strike, you give them a high five. It just shows respect towards their players, and that's really it. It's really the OP way, honestly.
And you also want to show a positive attitude throughout all of the bowling. You don't want to become, you don't want to start to have like a bit of rage built up inside of you and start screaming on a lane where you don't construct.
I'm guilty of this charge. I'm not gonna lie. That's something I had to work towards. And honestly, it is easier said than done. But the more calm you are, the better you're gonna bowl. But if you say you're having a bad game, if you just stay focused, stay on top, your teammates will have your back, and just bowl that good game. And honestly, that is a really good point, and I am trying to work on that. And that's really all there is.
And like Nick said, you always want to support your teammates no matter how bad or good they're doing. It really helps team chemistry, and you'll wind up becoming a better team.
It does, and also what Steven said, team chemistry is honestly everything. Like, if you're doing well, your teammates will do well also. They'll also go off of what you're doing. And that's honestly how we got the States last year. We started off really well. They had a really ass second game, and we really did work our butts off. We really did do really well that last game. That's what got us to the States. We had the chemistry. We got each other hyped up, and that's what you gotta do. You gotta really just support your teammates, and it really does help. It's the first time we had the States in a few years. So always support your teammates.
And going off of what Nick said with States, make sure you don't acknowledge what other people are doing on the lanes. There are going to be some times when you're bowling against a team that gets very rowdy, even if they bowl.
Like Johnson.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So just make sure they don't get into your head. Otherwise, you will get once again mad and you will start slacking in your game. You won't do as well.
Guilty charge also. Oh man, see, it does get rowdy. There's another thing I think that is also very important to mention is that bowling is an atmosphere, honestly, that I don't think many other sports has, because it is a really condensed place. It really is. There's a lot of, during the States and County Tournament, really condensed place, and it gets really loud really fast, and it's a really competitive atmosphere. I think it's honestly one of the best atmospheres in sports. I know people really wouldn't think of that, like there's so many great atmospheres in other sports, but I don't really get enough credit for what it deserves, for atmosphere-wise. It really is a fun time. That's just what it is. So
once again, make sure you acknowledge the people that are cheering for you too. And bowling, once again, competition-wise, it's one of the sports where there will be people in the back standing on ladders in order to watch you bowl. So once again, make sure to not let them get into your head and to be able to.
It's very close quarters. It's not like it's like a baseball game. You can hear them, they're farther away. It's easier to zone them out. If they're right there, you really gotta stay zoned in and just work. I think that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically how a breakdown a regular game goes. Now, Steven's going to get into the basic fundamentals of bowling. Before we get into the proper fundamentals of how to throw a strike shot and a spare shot, I believe it's important to explain what are boards. Boards are very important when it comes to bowling. As you can see on the approach, each tile is a different color. Each tile represents a different board on the lane, and the dots represent every 5 boards there's lanes. So first I'm going to explain what it is for a lefty, because I'm lefty. So right here, this board, the first dot right here, that's the 5 board. That's 10 board, 15 board, 20, 25, 30, 35, and it goes all the way to 39, which is right here. So that's basically all the approaches. And for a righty, it'd be the exact same thing, just the other way. For example, that dot right here is the 5, 10, 15, 20, and so forth. So now you have the board basically figured out. That's like one of the most important things. You'll recognize the numbers. I could say, for example, start on board 20. 20 low, we'll do like an odd number. You would put, for me, I'm a lefty, so I would put my right foot right inside of my foot over here would be on the left side of the board. Right here. And if it was for a righty, they would put their left foot over here on board. So if someone tells you to stand on a certain board before you throw a shot, that's what you would do. Most people, when they do start off bowling, though, don't use these back dots. I use them personally. Most of the people do use these front ones to get started with. So now you have a basic idea of boards. I'm going to show Steven throwing a strike shot. I'm going to basically break it down, analyze what he's doing right, and basically how to throw a proper strike shot for beginners out there. So before we begin, I just want to say that Steven really does have one of the best forms out of all of my friends. I think he's the best example I could have had for this video. As you can see, he's going to get started in a second. I'm going to be analyzing what he's doing. First of all, you can see how he has his ball. He has his hand, his dominant hand underneath the ball, and then he has his left ball on the left side of it. That is very important. You want to keep everything lined up straight directly towards the foul line. You want to be parallel to the foul line. That is the most important thing right off the bat before you even do anything. So Steven, like me, has a 5-step approach. He really doesn't not many people use a 5-step approach. Most people do use a 4-step approach. And I'm going to show you what to do basically if you did have a 4-step approach. So as you can see, he's getting into his first step here. And this first step is like an extra step. If you're using a 4-step, you really don't need this. So with your first step on a 4-step approach, I am actually going to teach you a 4-step approach because it's easy and it's simple and it gets to the point. So he's getting into it, and on his second step, you're going to see he's going to push his ball forward. What this does is it helps create momentum and get ready to go to his backswing. And the backswing is definitely the most important part, and you start it right after your first step. As soon as you do your first step and going into your second, you drop the ball and go back. The thing with the backswing is you do not want to muscle it. The more you do, less is more in bowling. You don't want to do more. As you're going to see here, he's letting his left hand go the ball, and he's going to use it to balance himself so he doesn't fall over, foul, or basically he wants to keep himself steady at the line. He wants to keep his shoulders parallel to the line. As you can see now, he's letting the ball go back. He's keeping his hand. That is very important. He's keeping his hand behind the ball. This is going to help him create leverage on the bottom of his shot. He's going to be able to pull up on the grips, as you're going to see here in a second. So now as he goes up on his release, you're going to see that one thing, he's doing a big no-no that I want to get out of the way. As you can see, he's putting his body like hunched over. You do not want to do that. You want to keep your body straight at all times. That is one thing he doesn't do well, but it works for him. And honestly, when bowling, if you find things that work for you, just do it. I used a thumb for a year and a half and averaged a 170. Took out my thumb and now I'm averaging near 200. So do what you got to do. Here you can see Steven's going to come down, and I want you to really pay attention to where his hand is and how he's going to release the ball and take his thumb out of the ball. So now, as you can see, he's getting into his slide step, and he's meeting himself. He's perfectly meeting the ball, is meeting, and is going to go right next to his left knee, as you're going to see here. And as you can see, he's getting down near, and you got to pull up on the grips. So right here around the knee, this is where you should let the ball go, right here. Watch this. He's going to let it go. First, he's going to take his thumb out of the ball, and he's going to pull up on the grips from the back of the ball. As you can see how his hand is in the back. That's pulling up the grips is what's going to give you more revolutions, and that's what's going to make your ball hook and go to the pocket. And as you can see, he stays really followed through right here. And yeah, as you can see, he's going to follow through. His ball's going to go right to his target. And this is honestly just a great strike shot. As you can see, he follows through, and yeah, that's really the most fundamental sound. You always want to focus on posting your shot, and that's what he did beautifully there. And so yeah, that's honestly what you're supposed to do in the case of just following through and getting a good strike shot. So now I'm going to continue by showing you some spares. Alright, so now I analyzed Steven's shot and basically explained how a basic strike shot should go and how to basically hook the ball in a very fundamental and basic way. Now I'm going to go over spare shooting. Spare shooting, and I'm not lying when I say this, is the most important part of bowling. One of my old coaches told me a good spare shooter separates a good bowler from a great bowler, and he couldn't be closer to the truth. That is absolutely 100% accurate in my opinion, and I do agree with him. So, like I previously said, we finally went over boards and what they are. boards are what you're going to need to really get your spares. Let's say, for example, we're going to go over here, so I'm going to explain what each of the numbers of the pins are. So as you can see over here, the head pin is the 1 pin, the left side is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pin. There are 10 pins in bowling, obviously, and those are the numbers in which they are. So let's say, for example, I'm on board 20. I'm right in the middle of the lane, and I'm a lefty. So I'm going to explain it for a lefty, and then I'm going to explain it for a righty. So let's say I throw the ball to my target, which I explained in the strike portion on what a target is and what you should be aiming at. I missed it to the left. It underhooked, and I left, let's say I left 2 pin, which is right here. A 3 pin, rather. A 3 pin. So what I would do, since I just left the 3 pin, it came in light and didn't knock it down, what I would do is I would move over 3 boards to the left. This is the 3-6-9 rule. So if I say I left a 3 pin, I would move 3 boards to the left because, like I previously said, you want to move to the left so the ball can hook more. If you want to go after the 6 pin, you would move over 6 boards. If you want to go over the 10 pin, you'd move 9 boards to the left if you are like a regular bowler with a normal rev rate. And for the righties, it would be very, very similar. So let's say I was on board 20 and I was a righty, and I missed we'll say I missed the 2 pin this time because I'm going to go the opposite way. So what I would do is I would move 3 boards to the right and get that. Keep the target the same, by the way. Through the entire thing, no matter what board you are on the lane, your target will remain the exact same every time. So after that, I want to go after the 4 pin, I'd move 6 boards to the right. And if I wanted to go after the 7 pin, I would move 9 boards to the right. It's very simple. That's how you get single pin spares for the most part. I am going to go over, let's say I'm a lefty, the 7 pin, which is probably, in my opinion, the hardest single pin spare. And if I was a righty, how I would tackle the 10 pin. With that being said, I'm going to show you guys how to tackle, which is my 7 pin. But you would basically do the same thing on the other side of the lane if you were a righty, but going for the 10 pin. Same targets for everyone, and et cetera, et cetera. So, what I would do personally, since let's say I start on board 20, I would move 9 boards to the right. So for example, I would be on board 29. As you can see, my left side of my foot is on covering the whole board 29, and now I'm on my spot. With the 7 pin, actually what you want to do is you want to angle your body a little bit, as you can see, I'm angling my foot a little bit towards the pin, so more of a straighter angle towards the pin so it doesn't overhook. And also it's just a lot easier. So what I would do, with my target, what I would do mostly is the 7 pin. I would aim around the 19 board. This is easy to understand if you're a righty too. It's basically just the one board to the right side of the 4th arrow, and maybe one board to the left of the middle arrow. So I'm gonna try this. I'm not the strongest 7 pin shooter. That's my weakness. I've been practicing. Let's give it a try. Let's see if I can do it. That was beautiful. And that's what you want to do. If you want to practice 7 and 10 pairs, and 7 and 10 pins rather, what you would do is that you would want to do on a full frame. I would do games on where you just shoot spares. That's how you're really going to improve your spare shooting. And what you want to aim for when you're doing that is you want to pick off that 7 pin or pick off that 10 pin. So where no other pin, where every other pin is still on the lane. So when I did it there, that was my 2nd attempt. I did miss the first one, I'm not even gonna lie. I did that perfectly. I was actually really proud of myself. I never do that like that. So that's what you're trying to aim for with your 7 and 10 pins. So that's really it. The next question you're probably gonna have is, Nick, what if I do if there's multiple pins out on the lanes? Now let's say, for example, I'm gonna give you a fine example right here. We're gonna go back to the pin so I can explain. Let's say I'm a lefty, so I'm come in light over here, and I leave a bucket. I'll leave the 3, 5, 6, which is the 3 pins right here. And if you were a righty, you would leave the 2, 4, 5. Same thing, if you came in light. So what I would do here is you always want to go for the pin that's the closest to the front. For example, I missed the 3 pin as well as the 5 and the 6. What I would do is pretend like I'm just going for a 3 pin. So I would move 3 boards to the left, keep my target the same on the approach, and I would just try to make sure the ball goes in between the 3 and the 5, and the 3 pin will knock out the 6, and the ball should take out the 5 and go out in this direction. And that's basically the same for any other combo except for washouts and splits, which I will get into in a little bit. You would basically just go for the front pin, use that 3-6-9 rule, and try to get all the pins down with either A, having one of the pins knocking into it, or one of the pins and having the ball go in the other one. It's really as simple as that. They're not as hard as they look. I know when there are more pins on the lane, more stuff can go wrong. But if you long as just stick to the fundamentals, you should be fine. splits are my favorite thing in bowling. So, I want to explain how to tackle them to the best of your ability. Splits are very, very hard, and not even I make them probably 20% of the time, unless it's like a baby split, which I'll explain how to get in a second. So let's go back to our pins over here. Let's say you come in a little heavy, and let's just say, for example, somehow you leave the 210. We're going to say you leave the 210. What you want to do on a split like this, you want to make it so your ball, so I would just move your 3 boards. That's what I would do. I'd move your 3 boards and try to get the ball to the left side of that pin. And if you're ready, you'd move 3 boards as well. And I was trying to get the ball to the best of your ability to that left side so this 2 pin can knock into the 10 pin. That is way easier said than done, but that's how I would tackle splits. If you see a split, you want to see what side of the pin that's in the most front that you can get it to slide over. I know there are splits that are like basically impossible to get. Let's say, for example, you leave a Greek church. A Greek church for a lefty would be a 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. And if it was for a righty, it would be a 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. My apologies. So, if you're doing that, if you have like basically an impossible split that no one can get, always, always, always go for count. You always want to go for count. So let's say, let the Greek church, let's say let the 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. What you would do, just go for the 3. Just go for the 3. Don't even worry about trying to convert it. Because if you worry about trying to convert it and trying to get the ball in between the 6 and 10 pin, and let's say you miss, like only get the 10 pin or miss all of them, you could lose a game over that. What if a game you lose by a pin in competition? And you could have easily won if you just went for the pin count. Always go for the pin count if it's an impossible split. Always try to get one. Like, even if it's a 7-10, make sure to get one of the pins that you feel more comfortable with. For example, I'm lefty, and I'm not the best at the 7 pins, so I would always, every day of the week, I would go 7-10, to go for after the 10 pin. That's what I would do. I would not try to convert that, because you'll just end up messing it up and just not going off of your fundamentals. So, that's my recommendation for splits. Just keep using the 3-6-9 rule, and try to get to the side of the pin and where the pin can be knocked into the other split. Unless it is a baby split, and I am going to explain how to get the baby split right now. So now we're going to get into the baby split. The baby split, in my opinion, I know for beginners it's not going to be the easiest split to convert. It's pretty easy once you get like a constant motion on how to knock them down. And you're probably like, Nick, what in the world is a baby split? A baby split is, let's say somehow you leave the 2-7 or the 3-10. Those are the 2 baby splits in the game. And they are very, very easy to get. This is the easiest and the only split in the game, other than like a 7-8 or like a 4-5 or like where there's pins next to each other, that you can get with the ball hitting both of them. So what we want to do is you want to move around 3 to 4 boards to the left if you're or to the right if you're a lefty. You want to move 3 to 4 boards to the left if you're a righty. And what you want to do is pretend like you're going after a 7 or 10 pin, and literally just go right in the middle of it. Pretend like you're going for a 4 pin. That's the easiest way to think about it. Pretend like you're going for your 4 pin. So move around 6 boards, try to get right in the middle of them, and the ball should hit off the 2 pin and then ricochet and hit the 7. And if you're righty, it should go off the 3 and go right in the 10. It's as simple as that. It's a really easy split to convert. And there are times, it is really, really, really rare, where you will leave the opposite baby split. I leave this a lot more than I should. So this is like, since I'm lefty, I would leave the 3-10, or if you're a righty, you would leave the 2-7. And what you would do, this is actually way easier than the other one. Basically, all I gotta do is hook it like you're going for a 6 pin, but maybe I wouldn't go full 6. Maybe I'd go 5 boards, so you would still have a chance of hitting that 3 pin. So I would just basically just go like that, make sure it hits the 3 pin and just ricochets right off into the 10. There's gonna be more ricochet because I'm a lefty, that's the direction my ball is going, so it's gonna like, the revs are gonna make it bounce off more, so don't really worry about. Basically, as long as you get to the right of the 6 pin, you get the spare. Basically, same thing if you're a righty. If you get to the left of the 2 pin, you're basically getting the spare. But don't get too left. So it's easy as that. Easy fundamentals how to get the baby split. So now you basically know how to tackle every spare, split, basically any leave you could possibly leave in the game. Now it's gonna go over some drills. What I like to do to get better at my pins, focus on your weakest pins. I cannot stress that enough. Don't go after the pins you're already good at because to make yourself feel better. Just go after the pins that you really struggle with. My worst spare conversion in the game, 7 pin. I will spend 2 games in a row just tackling 7 pins over and over and over again and getting that repetition and that follow through down so you can get it almost every time. You will never be perfect on every fair. That's just the human effect of bowling. But you want to get to as close as perfect as you possibly can. And basically just keep playing games on working on spares. Work on spares all the time. Always. That's really the only drill I would say for spares that really work and that are like not boring and tedious to do. That's what I would do. That's how I'd recommend getting better spares. Just bowl games, just working on spares. Another spare I think that'd be important, if you're lefty, the 2-4-7. If you're righty, the 3-6-10. Same things like that. You already know what the numbers of the pins are, so you finally understood what I said there, so that's awesome. And yeah, I think that's really it when it comes to spare shooting. That is all, everyone. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Before I go, I just really want to tell you that, as you can tell by because I'm making this video, OP bowling is something that was very, very important to me by the time I went to prep. It honestly was something I found passionate. I was really passionate about the sport. I really enjoyed it. And I really want people that are coming in after me to continue the legacy building. We're building it up. We're getting better every year. And it's awesome. I really loved it. It really did help me become not only a better bowler, but a better person. So, honestly, just keep bowling, enjoy yourself, and here's no blue pins. Go Rams.